Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rux, I'm a Western Tropical Astrologer, and today we are going to be talking about the new moon in Pisces coming up on the 18th, 19th of March, depending on where you are based in the world. So the new moon is taking place on the 19th of March at 1:23 a.m. GMT time. Of course, you can adjust that for your own time zone. And it is happening at 28 degrees, 27 minutes of Pisces. So if you have in your natal chart planets, important points, angles around, let's say 27 to 29 degrees of the mutable signs, you will feel this new moon the most. Let's recap. Who are the mutable signs? What are the mutable signs? Pisces, Virgo, and Sagittarius, Gemini. There will be some folks who will really enjoy the energy of this new moon. Those of you who have planets or angles or important points around 27 to 29 degrees of Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio, and Cancer. And if you have planets or angles or important points around 15, 16 degrees of Cancer, I think you will like this new moon also. I mean, I think you're liking these kind of days in March because, hey, Jupiter, the great benefic, is hovering over your natal placements. Now, if you're thinking, what on earth are you talking about, Rux? Natal placements, degrees, what is this? I'm basically talking about your natal chart. The natal chart is the map of the sky at the time when you were born. Everyone has a natal chart. It is based off of our date, time, and place of birth. And if you want to find out what your natal chart looks like, you need to first and foremost know your time of birth, which is super, super, super important for accuracy. So check your birth certificate, call the hospital, ask your mom, ask your parents if you can. And you can then input your birthday details online for free on websites such as astro.com or astro-seek.com. So you're putting in your birthday details, including your location of your place of birth, and voila, you will have your natal chart with all your planetary placements, degrees, angles, etc. Now, this is also very, very important exercise if you are new to astrology or newish to astrology, and you hear me say things like, hey, please listen to the update for your rising sign, for your ascendant. So if you want to find out what your rising sign is, if you want to find out what your ascendant is, I once again recommend finding out your time of birth and then going online on the websites that I have mentioned. And alas, your natal chart will be generated and you will also see what your rising sign is. I do not recommend, I really want to stress this out, I do not recommend using AI tools such as ChatGPT to find out your natal placements because it makes huge, blatant calculation mistakes. It is not that good at calculating, and you might end up thinking that you have a different chart than what your chart actually looks like. So my recommendation would be to stick with the OGs, with the websites that are free, they are established, they are created by, I think, by people who know astrology, by astrologers. So the back end of those websites calculates things correctly. And those websites, I repeat, are astro.com, astro-seek. There might be other websites out there, but I did want to give you a little bit of a heads up when it comes to using AI tools. They don't know astrology that well, just as an FYI. So enough said about the natal chart. Let's go back to the new moon because that is why we are here. So this new moon is going to be in a harmonious aspect to Uranus. I love this. I'm going to be super straightforward, folks. I love this new moon in general. And I know there's going to be people listening to this and thinking, why? What is so special? What's going on? What's the deal with this new moon? Why is it different? We have a new moon a month, and that is absolutely fair. That is absolutely correct. A new moon from a symbolic perspective represents a new beginning. And you might feel the energy also in the 3 days before the new moon and the 3 days after. You might feel it sort of building up. We go through fresh starts, we go through new beginnings all the time. Some of them are louder than others, some of them are more obvious than others, some of them make more sense in hindsight. Some fresh starts, we don't even know we are going through them. hindsight is 2020, obviously. But from a symbolic perspective, I repeat, a new moon is a new beginning. It is a new chapter kicking off. If you want to make the most of astrology in your life, I generally recommend beginning new projects after a new moon or around the time of the new moon, but not, I want to say not before. So after the new moon has actually happened, because the moon is growing in light, and symbolically that means that whatever endeavor you are kicking off, it will grow, it will blossom, unless you are beginning a new chapter where you want to get rid of something. So just a quick electional astrology tip for you over there. So what do I like about this new moon? I like the fact that it is in a harmonious aspect to Uranus. So I do believe that it is bringing what feels like pleasant surprises, okay? What feels like unexpected, a lot of unexpected things, unexpected peace, unexpected relaxation, unexpected harmony, unexpected healing. It also brings a sense of freedom, of liberation in some regards. Now, because this new moon is happening in a water sign, and water and earth are considered to be more inwards looking elements in astrology, I gotta say, you may not necessarily experience this lunation as being this kind of flashy, dramatic new chapter in your lives, folks. On the contrary, it could be something that you experience in silence, in stillness, maybe on the inside. Is that less important? Oh boy, no, absolutely not. I believe it is immensely, immensely, immensely important to pay attention to what is happening on the inside, to the quiet new beginnings of our lives as well, and especially to what's going on inside of us, because as they say, who are they? Hermeticists and other people. As within, so without. As above, so below. So I'm liking the kind of pleasant surprises aspect of this new moon. I'm liking the element of innovation that is coming in. There may be a sense of things experiencing smooth progress in our lives. The freedom aspect, I did mention it, and I believe this is also very strongly emphasized by the fact that Jupiter, the great benefic, the ruler of this new moon, is going to be direct at the time of the new moon. Mercury goes direct the next day, so on the 20th of March, in a little over a day. Jupiter is also in certain ways associated with the liberation from, who was it that said this? I think it was maybe Valence, which is, he was, he is not anymore amongst us. He is a famous astrologer from antiquity, potentially. Don't shoot the messenger if I'm getting my facts not 100% correct in this video, because I am shooting with Mercury retrograde, so please forgive me in advance, folks. So I think it was Vitius Valens who said that Jupiter is the breaker of chains. So we are experiencing an unshackling. We are experiencing an element of freedom, of relief, of our chains coming undone. And is that not the most beautiful thing that we can experience in life? Something has had a tight grip on us, and now we're free. Now we're free to pursue something else. Now we're free to do whatever we want with our lives. Now we are free. I gotta say, Jupiter is going to be in a harmonious aspect to Mars, and the aspect is going to go exact over the next few days. So it's not exact just yet. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be exact on the 22nd of March. Yes. But this is a time of inspired action, an action driven by faith, trust, divine guidance. And the thing is, we are free to act, which we might not have been in certain aspects of our lives, because let's not forget, Saturn has only recently gotten out of Pisces. It has only recently, in the middle of February, gotten out of Pisces. So essentially, you could say that this new moon is the official new beginning, fresh chapter in the Pisces sector of our charts. And of course, we're going to address that for all 12 zodiac signs, because we all have the sign of Pisces somewhere in our charts. So we can experience at this point in time, finally, that sense of a new beginning after being stagnant, delayed, frustrated, restricted, after dealing with a lot of difficulties, after having to put in so much discipline into the Piscean sector of our lives. I kid you not, this is, I was about to say, a tremendous breath of fresh air, but that is not a good pun, because this new moon is happening in a water sign. But you might feel like it's ultimately a breath of fresh air that you're taking in the Piscean sector of your charts. So Jupiter in a harmonious aspect to Mars, full speed ahead, take action aligned with your beliefs. That is my recommendation. Take action inspired by divinity, but also in alignment with your gut. And I gotta say, your gut is probably right at this point in time. We're also probably taking action to grow in a certain sector of our lives, and there's basically nothing getting in the way. Can I just say that again? There is nothing getting in the way. Jupiter, also the ruler of this new moon, is going to be in a harmonious aspect to Venus. Now, Venus is going to be in Aries, I will say. So there is a little bit of an energy of excess here. I feel like we may want to celebrate, we may want to enjoy ourselves, we may want to, I don't know, like throw a party. There's lots of enthusiasm. There's lots of enthusiasm when it comes to maybe in your relationship. There's lots of enthusiasm when it comes to a new collaboration. There's lots of enthusiasm when it comes to a friendly sort of competition. Now, when I see Jupiter together with Venus, with Mars, we've got this conjoining of, I mean, Venus and Mars are not communicating, but Jupiter is communicating with both of these planets. I'm thinking this would be a great time for a friendly competition, to attend a game, to attend a sport event, to get involved in a game. The one thing that I gotta say is, yes, there will probably be things that we feel ready to celebrate, that we feel entitled to celebrate. But make sure that you don't overdo it with the pleasure, just as an FYI, because there can be a tendency to go a tiny little bit overboard with Jupiter in aspect to Venus. We might feel so bold and courageous when it comes to reaching out to someone. We might feel like, come on, this is my chance. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna invite that person out. And hey, do it if you feel like it. But also, you don't have to send them 100 roses before your actual date. I mean, that would be a tiny little bit excessive, right? So that's the kind of excess that I'm referring to. Now, a few additional themes when it comes to this new moon are the following. Healing. Healing is probably going to be a big one. Healing on a deeper level, on an emotional level, helping others, supporting others who have maybe gone through a very tough time, defending others and taking action that will maybe help others grow and expand and find a sense of comfort, material, physical, emotional. Relaxation is also a big theme, which I have sort of alluded to. It's also inviting us, this lunation, to create a new vision, to, I gotta say, dream. Like, dream. And is this the time to dream big? I'm going to say 99.9%, because some people might just not want to dream big, but this is probably one of the best times to indeed follow one of those big dreams and say, come on, the time is now, let's do it. Especially if it's a dream that has been on your radar for quite some time, because Mercury is still retrograde. It goes direct on the 20th of March. So I believe you're still kind of dealing with some old ideas, old dreams, old visions, and now you can finally pursue them. It's also a great time to meditate. It's also a great time to create more room, more space, and dedicate yourselves more to a spiritual or mystical or artistic endeavor. Let's not forget that Pisces is the sign of imagination. Ultimately, I feel like saying have faith, trust your dreams, and follow your dreams. If the opportunity arises to help others, I believe you can indeed help others out of, I don't want this to sound ironic in any way, but I feel like it is a good time to help others out of the goodness of your heart. It is a good time to volunteer, to do charity, to donate, to help those in need, to alleviate the suffering of others. At a collective level, we may see the spotlight being placed on the creative industries, especially Piscean industries. So I'm thinking of music, I'm thinking of maybe the film industry. But we might also see the spotlight being placed on spirituality and potentially spiritual leaders and maybe a new direction for certain spiritual, let's say, authority figures or for certain spiritual institutions, possibly. Whatever you are waiting for, I feel like saying it's happening. So if you were waiting for a sign from the universe, it is happening. I also want to say that Pisces in general is a sign very strongly associated with kind of bringing a vision to life. So if you've been hoping, but not just hoping, directing action and effort towards manifesting a greater vision, you may feel like the universe is on your side this time, and it is kind of moving you in that direction. Before we go into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs, let me remind you, please to listen to the update for your rising sign, because these general forecasts are built with the rising sign in mind. If you don't know your rising sign, of course, you can listen to the update for your sun sign, but my recommendation would be find out what your rising sign is so that you can make the most out of these free videos. Secondly, a quick reminder for those of you who are, well, I say a reminder, so maybe I've mentioned it before, maybe you've heard me mention it before, but also I'm going to say it for those who are here maybe for the very first time, because our Written in the Stars community is growing and growing and growing, and I am so grateful for that. If you want to work with me, if you want to book a personal astrological consultation, I work with clients on a day-to-day basis. This is my day job, my full-time job. I'm a full-time consulting astrologer, and you can book a reading, a personal reading, using the link in the description box and also in the pinned comment, writteninthestars-astrology.com. So you can book via my website, writteninthestars-astrology.com. If you're a new client, the 1 hour, 15-minute Zoom consultation is the option to go for, regardless of the information, advice, guidance, recommendations that you're after, whether they be connected with the year ahead or your natal chart, lifetime themes, lifetime lessons, karmic lessons, challenges, how to make the most of your chart, how to make the most of the cards that you've been dealt relationship-wise, professionally, and so on. The 1 hour, 15 minutes Zoom consultation is the option to go for. I also do compatibility. I do relocation astrology if that's something that you're interested in, using relocated charts and astrocartography. So the 1 hour, 15 minute Zoom consultation is the link in the pinned comments as well as in the description box. There is also an emergency reading option, because generally for regular readings, the waiting time from the moment when you book until the moment when we actually meet via Zoom video call is between a few weeks. It could be 3-4 weeks, up to a month and a half. It obviously depends on how busy my calendar is. If you are in a rush, if something's going on now, there's maybe an emergency unfolding, or if you're at a crossroads, if you need to make a decision that is time sensitive, the emergency reading option is the one to go for. And I've also left a link to that in the pinned comments as well as in the description box. And if you're an existing client, you know that you also have other options, the 30 minutes follow-up consultation or the year ahead forecast to the 12 months ahead forecast. They both have a preferential rate for existing clients. So once again, writteninthestars-astrology.com. That is where you can find me. There are also some courses, some recorded courses that you can purchase from my website. natal chart interpretation, transits, forecasting with transits. So have a look in the services section if you are a student of astrology. And I'm going to leave it at that, and we shall move on to the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs, starting off, of course, with the one and only Aries. Aries suns and Aries risings. My lovely Aries. 18th, 19th of March, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new moon in your 12th house, ruled by Jupiter in your 4th house of home. Okay, what's going on, my dear Aries? Well, a few things could be going on. Finally, you seem to have clarity as to what it is that you need to let go of when it comes to your home life, family life, living situation. So you may be doing a massive clear out. You might have been doing a clear out throughout March in general, but maybe now you feel like, okay, there's a few more things that I no longer need. There's a few more things that I'm ready to say goodbye to. You might also feel like it's finally clear from a more symbolic perspective what has been holding you back on an emotional level, on a subconscious level, when it comes to moving forward full speed ahead with a big project, a big dream, a big plan on the property, on the home front, on the personal life front. So let me give you an example, Aries. Let's say you've been debating with a partner. Should we have a child? Should we not have a child? Should we buy a home? Should we wait? Should we not buy a home? So at the time of this new moon, it could be very clear to you, oh, these were the fears. These were the sort of like buried kind of feelings, emotions that were symbolically holding me back from taking a leap of faith. And I believe this could be a good time to take a leap of faith in terms of your personal life, in terms of home and living situation. I also believe this is a very, very good time to maybe bring to the surface any fears, any doubts, any wounds, any suffering that you might have been harboring, connected with your past, connected with your private life, connected with your family, connected with your parents. This can be a very good time for healing. It can be a very good time to heal the relationship with someone, and it might feel incredibly cathartic to bring that to the surface. It might almost feel like it's giving you sort of subconscious permission, or you're giving yourselves subconscious permission, my dear Aries, to finally let that part of your past go and focus on expanding your home life, your personal life, your family life in a direction that you are genuinely very enthusiastic to walk towards and to step into. There's also a possibility that a parent might be experiencing a fresh start that involves a surrender, a release, a letting go of some sort. So maybe a parent is getting ready to retire or leave behind a new job. I like the fact that the new moon is very nicely aspected to Uranus, because I feel like there's maybe some hidden element coming to the surface that makes you feel really good about yourselves. It makes you feel very good about your financial situation. Maybe there's an unexpected opportunity coming in that's paying you more money, and maybe it's something that you're going to be doing from the confines of your home. This could also be the time when you finally decide to invest more in your mental health, and I believe you recognize how important this actually is and how much it has been acting as a blocker in your way to a better life, let's say. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you started therapy. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you started meditation. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you signed up for, I don't know, like a meditation app. So all of these things are very, very nicely aspected. Last but not least, if someone is, if someone is in need of being forgiven in your life, be them a family member or someone that is very close to home or someone that you've known for a very long time, I think you're ready to forgive them, even though maybe part of you is still like, I don't know if they've actually changed. If someone needs to forgive you, if you need to ask for forgiveness, I'd say, hey, leave the ego aside and ask and say, listen, I'm sorry. Sometimes that's all it takes. My dear Taurus, Taurus suns and Taurus risings. 18th, 19th of March, depending on where you are in the world. Active 3 days before, 3 days after. We have a new moon in your 11th house. How beautiful is this new moon? I'm like, how beautiful is it? It is very beautiful. It is very beautiful for a variety of reasons, because I feel like you are finally inspired to take action in alignment with your dreams, in alignment with your goals, in alignment with your greater plans for the future. I feel like you are finally ready to send that message, send that email, finally reach out to someone in your network, maybe to a good friend that's been saying, hey, come on, let's work together, let's do this, let's make this happen, let's team up. You are ready to go. And there's maybe a part of you that's still thinking, oh, how am I going to make this work? Oh, I don't have all the details. Oh, I'm not sure if this is going to be feasible. Am I ready? Should I work first on something else on my own? Do I really want to get out of my cocoon, out of my sort of like safe space? And to that I say, Taurus, you are probably ready. And not only are you ready, this new moon is basically showing you've got so many great people around you here to help you achieve your dreams, here to support you overall in general. You've got fantastic friends. You've got either like a cousin or a sibling or someone in the extended family who really wants to do something to propel you forward, who doesn't ask for anything in return. You also seem to have a very good partner on your side. Now, they could be a business partner, they could be a romantic partner, they could be a life partner. They could also be a sort of counselor, consultant, coach, therapist type of figure who absolutely believe in you. Now, I also think that the coast is somewhat finally clear after years of waiting when it comes to taking novel action in your life, Taurians, especially novel action on the educational front, novel action when it comes to contributing to a greater cause, maybe a community, maybe a bigger organization of some sorts. This is also a very good time to take action when it comes to your sources of income. I am gonna say it. Maybe you've been waiting for a long time to, I don't know, like start investing. And by the way, this is not financial advice. You're completely responsible for your financial decisions. Well, alas, if you were waiting for a sign, now is your time. This is your sign. Consider this your sign. This could also be the time when finally the relationship with a friend or maybe with a group of friends improves after a lot of back and forth, after maybe challenges in communication, after maybe feeling stranded for some time, maybe even for like a few years from your friends, after feeling maybe misunderstood. It looks like you're going back into your sort of circle, and you are welcome with big kind of open arms. My dear Geminis, Gemini suns and Gemini risings, 18th, 19th of March, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We have a new moon in Pisces in your 10th house, sextiling Uranus. And Jupiter is trining Mars. And Jupiter is also in aspect to Venus, but we'll leave that to the side for a little bit. Geminis, you have been tested a great deal, especially Gemini risings from a professional perspective. You have been tested, and maybe you've had to give up on some aspects of your career, on some aspects of your role, or maybe you've had to take on more duties and more responsibilities, and it has felt difficult. It has felt emotionally hard over the past 3 years. Well, now is your time to collect your rewards. Your rewards from the cosmos. This new moon can bring in, finally, after a lot of waiting, after many delays, after so many sort of moments of frustration and disillusionment, this new moon can bring in a major success on the career front. So a big new role, a big new position, maybe something that's been promised a while ago, but now it's finally coming in. It can bring in the official fresh start of a new career path, maybe something that you've been working towards over the past 3 years. And finally, the odds are in your favor, as they say, and the coast is clear. What I can tell you is that whatever's going on the career front, you are very nicely aspected from a professional perspective and a financial perspective, dare I say. So maybe this is the time when you are kind of announced as the new, I don't know, like CEO of a company, or maybe your promotion is sort of announced in an email to the whole company. Maybe you are accepting a new role and it is a much better paid role than what you had before. This could also be the time when you're finally ready to launch your new business or something that you've been working on for some time. And boy, I repeat, is this going to be a success from a financial perspective? Is this a great time to update your LinkedIn, your portfolio, your public sort of like image in the world? Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Does it feel like the universe is maybe surprisingly giving you a nudge and saying, come on, this is your time to shine, both career-wise, but also in the spotlight, in the eyes of the public? Yes, yes, yes. Once again, there is a possibility that maybe something that you've applied to professionally a while ago is now finally materializing, and you are so pleasantly surprised. It is just insane. Money's looking fantastic. It is the time to take inspired action on the public status front, on the career front, and it looks like you're the right person at the right time, somehow out in the world. Now, for those of you who are not working, for those of you who are maybe retired, for those of you who are thinking, hey, I don't have a job, what is this? Well, this can bring, if you're looking for a job, this can absolutely bring a very well-paid job. But secondly, this can also be the time when you are kind of nudged to step more out into the world. So this is about you being out into the world and embracing a new role that makes you feel very valued and very appreciated. Because even if maybe you don't have like a regular job, that doesn't mean that you are not here to contribute to society. I gotta say, this is your time to shine in the way in which you contribute to society. Now, I do want to say, Jupiter, the ruler of this new moon is in a tense aspect of Venus. So I feel like you may want to celebrate your success. And there can be a little bit of a tendency to have way too much fun, maybe with your friends. I don't know, have like one too many drinks, or say, I'm paying for everyone's drinks. Everything is on me. I mean, do you have to do that? No. Is it a good idea to do that? Debatable. You probably do have the money and the resources. Is it a little bit too much? Yes. 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 I'm just going to say it. My dear Cancerians, Cancer suns and Cancer risings, fellow Cancerians, I am a Cancer rising myself. 18th, 19th of March, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new moon in the 9th house. Finally, after so many years of Saturn being in this part of our charts, in a harmonious aspect to Uranus, ruled by Jupiter in our first house, and Jupiter is also in a nice aspect to Mars. Cancerians, what is this about? Well, lots of good things. I will just say, Mercury is going to go out of retrograde the day after the new moon, so on the 20th. If you've been experiencing delays, frustrations, challenges, tension, a sense of things being stagnant on the legal front, if you're dealing with anything of a legal nature, or if you're dealing with anything connected with immigration, visas, I don't know, foreign residency, etc. This new moon is saying you are moving forward, full speed ahead. This is fantastic, with tremendous success. So the path is clear, the coast is clear. If you've been waiting to apply for your, I don't know, like foreign residency, green card, visa, whatever that is, please don't wait anymore. I mean, yes, maybe wait until the 20th of March for Mercury to be out of retrograde, but the coast is absolutely clear. Now, I would not be surprised if some of you received your foreign passport around this time. I would also not be surprised if some of you were accepted into some sort of an academic program, if you applied for that, if some of you presented your, I don't know, final thesis, if it felt like you're entering a new chapter altogether when it comes to your academic situation. This may also feel like a really, really, really important fresh start when it comes to your worldview, your life philosophy, your belief system, and how you find meaning in life, Cancerians. Is that not hugely important? I gotta say, to me, it feels hugely important. So it looks like your life philosophy and your beliefs have been majorly tested over the past 3 years, and you might have renounced a few beliefs. You're like, nah, this is not serving me anymore. This is limiting me. This is getting in the way. Now, the new worldview that you've got, the new set of beliefs that you've got, or that you give yourselves permission to guide you through your lives by, it is all crystallized, and it makes so much sense, and it fills you with enthusiasm and with optimism and with joy and with a sense of, I am guided to live my life in this direction. Now, this new moon can also bring a fresh start when it comes to your connection with foreign lands and foreign countries. Maybe it's been something that you thought about, that you dreamed about, that you maybe considered, that you hoped for. Well, guess what? The universe is kind of fueling that hope, because there seems to be some sort of a significant event taking place around the time of this new moon saying, yep, you can make that dream happen. You can make that goal happen. This is a time to dream big on an international level, or to go international. Now, can you do that from a professional perspective? 100%, my lovely Cancerians, because Jupiter is also the ruler of your house of day-to-day work, and it's in a nice aspect to Mars, the ruler of your 10th house of career. So I would not be surprised if you started collaborating, or if you started kind of expanding on an international level from a professional standpoint. This could also be the time to maybe consider broadening your horizons from a spiritual perspective. So maybe you're thinking, I'm going on a pilgrimage, or I'm going to become more involved with a certain spiritual school, a certain spiritual tradition. Maybe I'm going to include it in my day-to-day. Maybe, I don't know, you are going to I don't know, like an ashram, or maybe you're going, like I said, on a pilgrimage of some sorts to experience firsthand what it feels like to live in a new way. Is there a chance of unexpected traveling around this time that makes you very happy? Yes. Yes, there is. If you have in-laws, this is also a very happy time for them. They are feeling relieved. They're feeling excited. They are feeling healed in some shape or form, and they're ready to take more action that will help them further find peace of mind. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will say Jupiter, though, is an aspect of Venus. So be careful not to overpromise and underdeliver, especially on the professional side of things. And you don't have to be a people pleaser, Cancerians. You absolutely don't have to do that, even if you're dealing with people who are very demanding and they're saying, oh, we're so excited to work with you, but we expect you to be here tomorrow. I'm like, no, that is not doable. That will not happen. So say no if you have to, or push back if you have to. Leos, Leo suns and Leo risings. My lovely, lovely Leos. 18th, 19th of March, active. Once again, 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new moon in your 8th house, sextiling Uranus. Mercury is going direct the next day, and Jupiter will be in a harmonious aspect to Mars, also in Pisces. So I feel like this is a fresh start, my dear Leos, when it comes to moving things forward finally on the following fronts. It could be one of the following, it could be several of the following. Anything that has to do with debts, taxes, inheritance, insurance money, investments, money from investors, if that is something that you're dealing with, commissions that you were waiting for. So it feels like after a lot of back and forth, maybe Mercury retrograde has been a headache. Maybe Saturn being in this part of your chart for so many years has brought burdens as of 2023. Now you're thinking, or maybe you're feeling very excited to see things moving forward in a direction that makes you breathe a lot more easily. So if you've taken on more debt over the past few years, maybe you're finally paying it off, or maybe you're entering a stage where you you're kind of like on the cusp of getting rid of it over the next few months, because maybe you have less expenses, because maybe you're making more money, maybe because you're earning a higher commission if you're working on commission. This could also be the time when finally you decide to take a leap of faith. And by the way, this is not financial advice, when it comes to investing more of your assets, more of your money, and when it comes to creating maybe a passive source of income, or setting up a passive source of income in some shape or form. Can this also be the time when someone gifts you something, or when an important person in your life? It could be a partner, it could be someone else, it could be a parent as well. Maybe they are helping you with a financial burden of some sorts, and once again you can sleep more easily at night, you feel relaxed, you feel relieved. That is very, very possible. Now, speaking of relaxation and relief, something that has been a source of emotional pain, crisis even, in your life over the past few years is entering a stage of healing, I'd say. So it's entering a much better stage, a stage where maybe the issue isn't fully addressed or resolved, but you are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you are stepping in the direction of the light at the end of the tunnel. It could be something on an emotional level. I gotta say this. Speaking of the emotional side of things, maybe some of you are taking that leap of faith and finally going to therapy, or maybe you feel like something has clicked inside of you and you feel lighter in your heart, and you are ready to give up on maybe a self-destructive habit, or I was about to say an addiction possibly. There is also a possibility that, so I'm looking at this Jupiter in the 12th house. There's also a possibility that you are finally forgiving someone, or they're telling you that they are forgiving you, and it doesn't matter who it's coming from, or it doesn't matter kind of like what direction this is going towards, whether you're forgiving someone or someone is forgiving you. You seem to be so happy that things have been cleared up, and I almost feel like you're getting a new lease of life in some shape or form, to maybe make even more significant changes in your personal life as a result of this heavy thing no longer weighing on your heart. Now, is there a possibility that this new moon can also manifest in a more kind of concrete financial material way? Yes. So if you have a partner, they might start making more money, which is great, or they might get out of a sticky place from a financial perspective. Maybe they've covered, I don't know, like a big debt, and now the family is doing overall better from a financial standpoint. Could this be a time when you welcome in a new financial advisor? Yes, that is a possibility. Could it be a time when you maybe ask for a higher, I don't know, like commission or a higher bonus, and you might be very pleasantly surprised to see that you're actually getting it. So yes, all of that is very, very possible as well. My dear Virgos, Virgo suns and Virgo risings, 18th, 19th of March, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new one in your 7th house of partnerships, collaborations, and relationships, ruled by Jupiter in the 11th house, which is also trining Mars. So doesn't matter if you're seeing someone or if you're single. Doesn't matter if you want to be on your own or not. This new moon is putting the spotlight on other people in your lives, Virgos, and especially it's putting the spotlight on partnerships and relationships. Now, they don't necessarily have to be romantic relationships. They can be business partnerships. They can be professional collaborations, but the spotlight is placed on your interactions with others. So I feel like a relationship is getting a reset of some sorts, or a new relationship is starting, but maybe it's something that you've thought about or that you've wanted to experience for a long time, and for whatever reason, there were many delays. There was a lot of back and forth. There was the sense of having to negotiate really hard to make this happen. Maybe there was the sense of the wrong timing, so life getting in the way. Well, no more. So for some Virgos, especially Virgo risings, this can bring in a fresh start on the romantic side of things. A relationship becomes official, or an existing relationship, if you're already seeing someone, is kind of being taken to the next level. And boy, are you happy. I believe you want to celebrate. I believe you want to throw a party. I believe you want to call in all your friends and say, we are moving in together, or we are engaged, or we are moving to a different country. It feels like a dream is kind of on the verge of coming true, or you're taking a huge step forward with another person to make a dream come true, to make a big goal come to life. There is a possibility that for some of you, a friend could turn into a romantic partner, or you could reconnect with someone at a friend's, I don't know, like event, birthday party, at a social gathering, and they may turn into a romantic partner. There is a possibility that this new moon can also bring in a very lucrative business partnership. I did want to say that. Now, it could be someone that you have worked with before because Mercury is retrograde. It could be a partnership that you've wanted to see come to life for a long time. But I repeat, things got in the way, life got in the way, the timing was not right. And alas, the timing is now right. There you go. I also believe that this could be the time when you decide to work with someone one-to-one. Maybe you've worked with them before, or you've thought about working with them before to help you achieve one of your goals. It could be a coach, it could be a consultant, it could be a therapist, it could be an advisor. Whoever it is, they're going to help you achieve your goals. I really want to say this. And it looks like they're having a tremendous effect in probably a constructive way when it comes to your worldview and your belief system and your perspective. Now, if you need to work with a lawyer, they're probably going to be immensely helpful. If you need legal advice, you're probably going to find a very good person. Ask your friends for recommendations. I love it. I love the recommendations that are coming in. You are feeling inspired by someone else. You're feeling inspired by your friends, by an advisor. Your friends are on your side. I do want to stress this out. I still believe this is a great, great time for some sort of a celebration, some sort of a social gathering. Venus will be squaring Jupiter. I would not be surprised if there were sparks flying in the air with someone also of a romantic nature, regardless of what this new moon emphasizes, business partnerships or whatnot. And I also have to say, if you have a strong opponent, maybe a strong adversary, maybe on the business side of things or in your professional life, if someone has been an adversary so far, there is a very high possibility that you might be able to turn things around and actually find a way to collaborate with this person, which I always find super exciting. Turning adversaries into allies. Way to go, my dear Virgos. Libras, Libra suns and Libra risings, 18th, 19th of March, active 3 days before, 3 days after. We have a new one in your 6th house. And I feel like you've been waiting for this for a long time, my lovely Libras. What's going on? So you've been tested a lot on the work side of things, and some of you also on the health front. Now, by the way, this is not health advice. Please take the advice of your doctor if anything comes up. You may have experienced disappointments, frustrations, and this feeling of not knowing exactly what's going on, either on the health front or on the work front, or on both fronts, maybe as of 2023 even. This feels like the official fresh start for you when it comes to one or several of the following, my dear Libras. Health-wise, it looks like you're going to have clarity. If there have been investigations happening, if you've been, going to doctors and trying to figure out, hey, why is this issue popping up, or what is causing this issue? To me, it looks like you have clarity. And not only do you have clarity, you know what action you need to take to improve things. So this could be the beginning of a new health regimen, of a new course of treatment, of a new approach to your overall health, wellness, and well-being. Mars is in a nice aspect to Jupiter at this point in time. So I do believe that whatever comes to the surface is ready to be actioned upon from a health perspective. So I'm just going to give you an example. Again, please take the advice of the doctor no matter what. If the doctor is saying, hey, this issue seems to be caused by you not getting enough high cortisol levels. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you finding space for relaxation in your life? Then it may be very clear, hey, the thing that I need to do more of is sleep more. Maybe there's something that I can look into, I don't know, supplements wise, in terms of your evening routine. What is it that you can do to make things happen? That's what I would ask myself, because it does look like it will, like some sort of action will be necessary, but at least you're gonna know, hey, this is the problem and this is how it needs to be fixed. Jupiter is going to be in a tense aspect of Venus. I feel like you're a little bit in resistance to taking action on maybe either the work front or the health front, or the action that you are required to take feels like it's maybe not going to work as fast as you want it to work out, but I don't think it's necessary to be in a rush at this point in time. Things will take however long they take, and sometimes we just have to accept that. So this is one possible manifestation of the new moon. The other possible manifestation is a fresh start on the work front that you have been waiting for a long time. Some of you could start a new job. Maybe you're finally hearing back from a job application that you have even forgotten about. You applied, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and now they're finally calling you and they're like, yeah, we want to interview you. And then things kind of evolve very quickly from there. It does feel like things are moving in a very auspicious direction from a work perspective. So it doesn't matter whether you're starting a new job or whether a new colleague is coming in or whether your team is experiencing a restructuring, maybe new projects, new clients are coming in after a lot of negotiations, after a lot of back and forth, after maybe trying to win this account and this new client for quite some time. Finally, things are moving forward, and I believe that this is supporting your career ascension. So things are looking good from a work perspective. There seems to be some sort of work-related transformation happening on a day-to-day basis that is going to make your life easier. You do seem to be getting support from others. Other people want to collaborate with you. They want to cooperate with you. They want to take things off your plate. You do seem to be in a very good position to demand things. The one thing that I will say is please don't push people's buttons more at this point. I feel like you're sensing that this is a sort of positive trend for you work-wise, and you're kind of like asking for more, and then like this is happening and you're like, I want this on top of it, and I also want this change to happen. So I would be cautious with that, because people might feel like you're trying to be overly domineering at this point in time, which defeats the purpose of this whole situation, because ultimately things are working in your favor, and I believe that is very, very important to flag. My dear Scorpios, Scorpio suns, and Scorpio risings. 18th, 19th of March, active 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new one in your 5th house. And boy, am I excited for you, Scorpios. Why? Because you have reasons to celebrate. That is why. This is a very exciting new moon. So what are you celebrating? Potentially a variety of things. First and foremost, you might be celebrating some sort of a success, some sort of a win from an educational perspective, from an academic perspective. Maybe you are celebrating a win that a child is having. So maybe it's your child getting accepted into university, or scoring some sort of big win on the educational side, and you are feeling so happy, I believe. You might be celebrating something in connection with children in general, also in connection with traveling, maybe. I feel like there's a big dream that is finally materializing in connection with either traveling or children or education, or a mix of all of these. Could this be the time when you decide, okay, let's do this. We are booking that trip that we have wanted to book for ages, for years. There's nothing else getting in the way. The baby is no longer a baby. The child is all grown up, and we can go travel. That is very much a possibility. Another thing that you could be celebrating around this time is maybe a win on the legal front, but also maybe a win connected with one of your passions and hobbies and creative projects. If you've been experiencing frustrations on the creative side, on the creative project side, no more. I feel like you're finally getting acknowledgement and recognition and some really good feedback. This new moon might also feel like a fantastic fresh start that fills you with like courage and inspiration on the romantic side for those of you Scorpios who are looking for love, who are open to love, who are single, but also for those of you who are with someone. It may also feel like a romantic reset. So let's say you've been with your partner for ages. Nevertheless, this new moon is saying, hey, maybe it's time to focus on the relationship once again. And I believe it's almost very likely that you're going to somehow fall in love with your partner. One more time, once more. Would I recommend also doing something in that direction to kind of spark that romance all over again? Yes, whether that's kind of a trip away or going to, I don't know, like an event, a concert, something exciting. It is a good time to do that. I do believe you are in a very romantic mood, Scorpios, because your chart ruler, especially Scorpio risings, Mars, is going to be in Pisces. This is also the time to dream very big when it comes to one of your passions and to reach out to someone. They might surprise you. Maybe you've wanted to reach out to them for a long time. Maybe you want to reach out to, I don't know, let's say you're a YouTuber and you've always wanted to collaborate with another content creator, and you just kind of like send that email finally, or you chase them if you've sent an email already. You might be very pleasantly surprised to see that they actually get back to you, and you're like, oh wow, I did not see that coming. What do I do now? Well, what you do is you jump. You take a leap of faith. Now, that's what I mean by jumping. I am going to say though, Venus is going to be in a square to Jupiter at the time of this new moon. You seem to be super excited. You are kind of floating on cloud nine for whatever reason, whether it's romance or creative inspiration or a big success that your child is experiencing. By the way, this can also bring pregnancies for Scorpio risings, just as an FYI. But make sure that work is not kind of falling to the side, that you're still paying attention to your work, that you're still doing your job. Because I believe there can be a tendency to maybe, I don't know, like drop everything and say, whatever, work, who cares? And there may be a few people who are like getting all kind of spiky in the workspace and saying, oh no, you can't just leave us like this. Make sure you do a handover or something like that. My dear Sagittarius suns and Sagittarius risings. 18th, 19th of March, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, we've got a new one in your 4th house. And boy, has this been delayed. I mean, not the new one, because the new one is happening when it's supposed to happen. But this is a fresh start that's been delayed and postponed so much, Sagittarians. What am I talking about? So as of 2023, there have been some changes, some challenges, some difficulties, some frustrating experiences, especially in the home space, in your personal life. Well, finally, it feels like you're moving forward and getting out of that space of frustration and out of that place maybe where you felt stuck for a long time. So some of you could finally, after a lot of back and forth, after a lot of trials and tribulations and obstacles, some of you could finally be moving into a new home. Some of you could be finally selling a property. Maybe if you put a property on the market for a long time, it hasn't been sold. Alas, there could finally be a buyer coming in, and you are feeling absolutely relieved. The key word here for this new moon is transformation on the personal life front. So you could be living elsewhere, you could be relocating, you could be moving to a different country, you could be completely transforming this personal life sector. And I feel like you are so at peace with this, even though this does seem to be a huge transformation. You are ready to let this go. You are ready to relax in a new space. You are ready to maybe heal from any sort of suffering that this situation at home has caused. And speaking of suffering, I do believe this is a very healing orientated new moon. I believe that you might be forgiving someone might be forgiving you. They might be giving you the sort of green light to I don't know, go pursue whatever it is that you want to what you want to pursue. The relationship with a parent could also see a tremendous improvement, because maybe you are letting go of not necessarily a grudge, but it could be it could be even a grudge that you're holding against them because they have hurt you as a child. I feel like you could be letting go of something that's been burdening you from way back. It feels like a very cathartic moment. It feels like you're somehow transcending your past, and you are ready to take action. Like no one's business. And your action seems to give you that sense of, yes, I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. I'm listening to my gut. I'm listening to my intuition. I have given this I've given this matter a lot of consideration. I have thought it over. I've maybe postponed it. I've held myself back, but now I am ready to go forward. I'm ready to go in full speed ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you also moved in with a romantic partner, or kind of changed your home and living situation to accommodate a new romantic situation of some sorts. There is a possibility that the family could be experiencing a transformation also. So maybe there's a new child coming in. I don't know. That is possible. That is very much possible. I do believe that children and romance are very much on your radar, and maybe they are the big kind of catalysts of this transformation happening in your home sector. I also feel like things are going to work differently on a day-to-day basis at home, because the new moon is in a harmonious aspect to Uranus in your 6th house, and you are ready for this kind of new routine, this new way of working somehow. This new moon can also bring a fresh start for a parent who's been dealing with some issues health-wise, and maybe they have experienced a transformative kind of moment. Maybe they've undergone surgery, or maybe something has happened and they actually seem to feel, to me it looks like they're actually feeling better, but they may need to keep up the good work and the good habits to build on this successful transformation. Capricorns, Capricorn suns, and Capricorn risings. 18th, 19th of March, active 3 days before, 3 days after, we've got a new moon in your 3rd house, ruled by Jupiter in your seventh house, which is going to be in a trine to Mars, an aspect to Venus. And you might be wondering, what is this about? What is this about, Rux? Well, for some of you, this new moon could materialize as your decision to approach a relationship differently, to communicate in a different manner, to speak in a different manner, to maybe voice your concerns in a different manner, to talk about the things that bother you in a different way. Maybe you decide to give the other person the benefit of a doubt. Maybe you decide to reconnect with someone that you've had a tough experience with historically. So maybe communication hasn't been that easy. Maybe it's been actually very hard. Maybe you felt misunderstood. Maybe they felt misunderstood. Now, is there a possibility that they could reach out to you? Yes. But I also believe that this could be a time for you to reach out to them. So if you want to patch things up with someone, this is probably the perfect time. Who could you patch things up with? It could be a sibling, it could be a cousin, it could be someone within the extended family. Family is very much in the spotlight because Jupiter is an aspect of Venus. And maybe the response that you get from a family member isn't exactly the most kind of considerate response, or it doesn't feel like the most emotionally intelligent response, but that doesn't mean that they don't mean well. So just because someone is maybe reacting in a manner that feels, I don't know, a little bit selfish or a little bit self-centered or self-focused, that doesn't mean that they don't want to have a good, positive relationship with you. Maybe you've done a lot of self-discovery work or healing work, and maybe they have or haven't. But I do believe that they are open. They are open to reconnecting with you. They are open to patching things up. They're open to working on the relationship. So communication is very much in the spotlight, and I do believe things can be repaired around this time. You might also reconnect with someone who you have been in some shape or form connected with romantically in the past. That is very much a possibility. You might hear back from someone from your past. It could be an ex, or it could be someone that maybe was a colleague or even a friend. Maybe there was a spark between the two of you. Now it feels very, very clear that there is a spark. If you have a partner already, if you're in a relationship already, it feels like you can finally kind of understand each other much better on a topic that potentially has historically caused friction between the two of you. And I feel like both parties, both you and the other person, are much more willing to listen and empathize and hold space for each other. This can also be the time when you finally decide to go ahead and start working with, I don't know, an advisor, a counselor, a therapist, a coach, or you may reconnect with someone who you've worked with in this capacity in the past. And I actually believe that you can achieve much greater things at this point in time, because you have decided to actually kind of go with the flow and follow the other person's guidance, as opposed to trying to control things very, very closely. For some Capricorns, this new moon can also bring a fresh start, especially Capricorn risings. A fresh start when it comes to maybe a new car, a new mode of transportation, or you finally decide to sell your car, or you finally find a buyer for something that you are selling. It is a good time to maybe start rewriting something, or to, or if there's a writing project that you began a while ago and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go back to this. Yes, maybe you should. And why not bring someone else in, someone that you trust, maybe, I don't know, like an advisor who can guide you on this journey. And if you always wanted to learn something, but there was never the right time, best time, there was never the time to do so. If you wanted to learn how to play the piano, for instance, or there may be something that you've been wanting to learn more on the spiritual side of things, I believe that this is a good time to move ahead with it, especially if, I repeat, you've been thinking about it for some time. You would probably benefit very much, though, from the guidance of someone who is experienced in this space. So do not hesitate to reach out to that kind of person. You might already know who that person is, I will say. Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings. My lovely Aquarians, 18th, 19th of March, active. 3 days before, 3 days after, you know how I like to say it. New one in Pisces. Oh, this is superb. Aquarians, you are smashing it, and you are very much aware of this. So this is a fresh start that's been a while in the making. You've worked hard. You've encountered obstacles. You've encountered difficulties. It has been maybe a struggle. It has been an uphill battle, but here you are on the other side of it. And now you're moving ahead like full speed. What is this excitement all about? Well, most likely this is going to be a new beginning from a financial perspective. I am going to say it. Is that exciting? I mean, depends what else is going on in your chart, but I do believe you should be excited, because you've probably had a lot of financial burdens to deal with, big expenses, and maybe even some restrictions that weighed heavily on you over the past few years when it comes to this sector. Well, now you are winning big. This new moon can bring in a new source of income. It can bring in a raise. It can bring in a better paid job. It can bring in a client that has deep pockets. It can bring in some sort of significant success in the workspace that will, I don't want to say it will allow you, but it will give you the fuel that you need to go and ask for a raise if that is something that you want to go for. It also feels like there's basically nothing getting in the way when it comes to you achieving your big financial goals. So maybe, I repeat, historically over the past few years, you've had obligations, you felt down, you felt restricted, and now you are feeling inspired, you're feeling enthusiastic. And if you've been dreaming to go after something job-wise or work-wise or clients-wise, I gotta say, now's your time to do it. Now is the time to kind of like throw that arrow and bring in the big win. I do believe that you are highly appreciated in the workspace. I also believe that you are feeling relieved because of something that's going on at home. So maybe you are getting rid of some major expenses connected with your home and family life. Maybe you've paid something off and you're thinking, oh my God, now I've got all of this money. What am I going to do with it? And I think it's giving you that extra boost to make more. And I don't believe you're doing this from a space of greed. I actually believe that you're doing this from the space of wanting to do well so that you can also support others and help others that means something to you. Is this finally the time when you could monetize one of your skills and talents and assets and resources? You've maybe been trying to do this in the past, but life got in the way, or you didn't feel ready, or your level of confidence was not where it was supposed to be in order for this to happen. Yes, that is very much a possibility. So you might finally start monetizing one of your greatest talents, and it could have something to do with your imagination. It could have something to do with your intuition. It could have something to do with your sort of like softer skills. It could have something to do with an artistic vision of some sorts. Jupiter is going to be an aspect to Venus. I believe you're going to have to talk to a lot of people around this time, and I believe the phone calls are going to be kind of maybe a little bit overwhelming. You need to send a lot of emails, you need to reach out to a lot of people, but overall there is a high degree of excitement in the air, and I think you should give yourselves credit, Aquarians, because this is very much well deserved, and the universe is kind of supporting you in this big breakthrough. This may also finally be the time when you have the available resources. I repeat, maybe because historically you've had a lot of financial obligations and maybe now not so many. You may have the actual resources to invest more in your health, wellness, well-being, in the things that sort of like fill you up with joy on a day-to-day level. And that is also a really exciting thing. There's lots of exciting things. Can I just say this, Aquarius, when it comes to this new moon? And last but not least, my lovely Pisceans. Pisces suns and Pisces risings. This new moon, 18th, 19th of March, is happening in your first house. And it is a breath of fresh air, even though it is a new moon happening in a water sign. Why is it a breath of fresh air? For so many reasons. You are entering a new life chapter. A chapter of healing, of creation, of more relaxation, of doing more of what makes you happy, of spending more time with loved ones. This can also be a new life chapter focused on children in some ways. So some of you could welcome in a new child, or some of you could feel like you finally have the time and the energy and the resources to spend more meaningful moments and to focus more on the meaningful experiences with your child or with your children. I feel like you are finally... Oh God, this is going to sound very heavy. I did not necessarily expect this to come in. But I feel like you're finally forgiving yourselves. I'm just going to say this, Pisces. You're finally giving yourselves permission to enjoy more of life, to celebrate life more, to have more fun, to put more of your energy into what makes you happy, into the connections that make you happy, into the projects that make you happy. And I do believe that maybe historically you've held yourselves back because you thought, no, I have to carry this burden, or I have to do my duty first, or I can't just be happy. And I read somewhere in the book that we only allow ourselves subconsciously a certain degree of happiness. Well, I believe that you are smashing through that kind of barrier that was saying, oh, you can only be this kind of happy. You can't be like super happy. Like, why would you be so happy? Oh, you just have to like accept what is and sacrifice yourselves. And no, at the time of this new moon, I feel like you are letting go of the old you, the you that has been forged through fire and has been like so heavily tested as of 2023. You're letting go of that version of you. You're saying goodbye to it. Maybe you're thanking it. Maybe you're thinking you've played your part. You did what you were expected to do. Now is the time to have more fun, celebrate life, enjoy life. And I do believe that this new moon calls in for a celebration of some sorts. Maybe it is a delayed celebration. It's possible. Maybe it's something that you've wanted to celebrate for some time. Maybe it's a party that you wanted to throw for some time. I feel like you are full of enthusiasm, of energy, and you're like, come on, let's do this. I am so pumped. You do seem to be pumped. I would not be surprised also if you decided to be more physically active around this time. You definitely seem to have the physical stamina and energy to do so. You will probably pour more energy into your creative projects, which is something that I have mentioned. And I believe you're also surrendering to, in an auspicious way, to something or someone that makes you very, very, very happy. Is this the time to dream big? Yes. Is this the time to embark upon a new exciting journey, whether that's romantic or creative or professional or all of the above? Yes. Is this the time to maybe create a new vision board and be as bold as you possibly can be? I would say 100%. It is the time to trust your dreams, my lovely Pisces. I feel like you can also do a lot of good around this time, which you might generally do because you're naturally quite a generous sign. But this time you're also doing things for yourselves, Pisces. That's what I'm feeling. Well, I say I'm feeling that, but I'm actually reading the astrology. This is not about feeling. This is about interpreting the astrology. One thing that I will say, you may feel like spending a lot of money at this point in time. I do not believe that is necessary. I believe you want to kind of shower someone with your love and appreciation and attention. Maybe you are throwing a party, whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, just kind of rein it in a little bit. You don't have to go that much overboard. And if you do go out and have fun, maybe you don't have to, once again, go into your overdraft. Just my sort of advice at this point in time. Is it also a good time to revisit old creative ideas? Yes, 100%. And to reach out to the right people because now they may feel finally ready and receptive when it comes to those ideas. Yes. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in for your new moon in Pisces update. Let us know in the comments how this new moon plays out. I'm always very, very excited. And it is, as I said, a time to set new intentions and a time when we might feel ready after a lot of heaviness and a lot of difficulty to chase a dream, to pursue a big, big, big dream. Now, you know where to find me, hopefully also on other platforms. I'm active on Instagram and on TikTok I'm less active, I have to be honest, but I am very active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is RuxUnbelievable, RuxUnbelievable in one word. That's also my TikTok handle. I don't have any other TikTok or Instagram accounts. It's just RuxUnbelievable. If you want to work with me, remember, writteninthestars-astrology.com. You know where to find me. The link is in the pinned comments and in the description box. And if my content is useful, if it's helpful, don't forget to give it a like, a comment, a subscribe, share it with your friends. And thank you once more. I do not take you for granted. I am very grateful to be your astrologer of choice, and I will see you next time. Bye.